Hey guys, Sam here from Landscape Plus. I'm on site today with Fred, our product manager, and we're going to be installing an irrigation system. Fred, what's the system we're putting in today?
So it's the Garden Rain Irrigation System. It's new to Landscape Plus, and the idea is we're going to be covering this whole 6x9 area.
Amazing. How many sprinklers is it we're using again?
4 sprinklers, so we'll have one mounted on each corner, all set to 90 degrees to cover the whole area. And we'll be doing that from one single zone. We've already done our calculations, so we'll be using a single zone tap timer to do that as well.
Perfect. So one tap timer, 4 sprinklers, one zone, complete 9x6 area covered.
And best of all, there'll be no pipe work anywhere in the middle of the beds. So instead, we'll have it all running along the outside, hidden out of sight, so you can still work your garden.
Perfect. Let's get to work.
So we're going to show you here how to test your pressure and flow from your outdoor tap. The first thing you'll need to test your pressure is one of the Landscape Plus pressure gauge kits. So they're really simple to use, they come pre-assembled. All you need to do is click them onto your tap connector. And then when you open up your tap, you've got the pressure gauge there. And you can see here, we have just over 5 bar of pressure there. So once you're done, you can turn that off. I'm going to spurt out, there we go. And next up, we want to test our flow rate, which is really easy to do. Just use a bucket, get that sat under the tap, and what we need to do is time it for 30 seconds. So I'm ready with my stopwatch, here we go. So there we are, 30 seconds later. We get it on a flat surface, look at the markers on your bucket, and we're just under 8 litres there, which means we have around 15 or 16 litres per minute coming from this tap. One common misconception that we get really often, that pressure and flow are related from your outdoor tap. It's really important to test both, because that way you can tell us both of those, and when we're specifying your irrigation, we make sure that we get it exactly right.
We've got our double tap splitter here, so that one will go onto the outdoor tap. It just means that once you've got your automatic irrigation running from one of the outlets, your customer has still got a secondary outlet that they can use for running a hose pipe, filling bucket, anything like that. We're going to be using one of the single zone Claber My Aqua Solar timers. To see how to program that, click here. We're going to be running this system from one of our control pack filters. So not only does it have a really fine mesh within there to remove any particles that might get through the timer, it also gives a fixed point that you can run your irrigation from, and a flexible pipe between your timer and your filter. So first of all, we are going to mount our bracket, and then we will pop our control pack filter on there, and just make sure to take note of that arrow on there. That is the direction of flow for your water. So our control pack filter is mounted around the back there. What we're going to do is pop a tap connector on the top of it so that we've got access for this flexible hose pipe. We'll then put a 19mm nut and tail off the bottom, ready to go onto our 19mm pipe for our system. So that one on the top there. You don't need to PTFE take these because they've got an O-ring within both of them. Nice and tight on there. That one snaps on, and then we'll pop the nut and tail straight on the bottom. So we have got our timer mounted, we've got our control pack filter mounted around the back there, so it's hidden out of the way, flexible pipe between the two, so it gives a nice fixed point for your irrigation there. We have cut our pipe just longer than ground level, so we can hide it just below the ground, just out of the way there. And then we've got our first piece of pipe with a T-joint to pick up our first 2 sprinklers. A couple of tips when doing that. Whenever you're cutting LDPE pipe, make sure you use a set of pipe cutters. Gives a nice clean cut, make sure it's going to seal nicely. And whenever you are putting a joint in, ratchet clamps are a must. We're using the 22mm ratchet clamps that fit nicely over the 19mm pipe. Make sure you put it over your pipe before you push it into the joint, so you're not wrestling it back off after. Whenever you're putting a ratchet clamp on an LDPE pipe fitting, make sure that it's nice and tight. Finger tight is not enough. Get a set of grips on there like that, and just a couple more to make sure that's not going to pop off when the water pressure comes through it. So we're going to get mounting our Garden Rain sprinklers on the 4 posts in the corner of this garden. We want to make sure that the head there is just up higher than the post, so that it pops all of the flow straight over the garden we're aiming for. So I'll mark up where we're going to pop our first saddle, grab our saddle clamp, screw through the middle of that one, and then just stick that one straight into the post there. We're going to put another one about midway down, and then one right at the bottom of the post to mount our pipework to. So now we've got our saddle clamps mounted to the post, we're going to use a cable tie through the back of there, wrap it around your post, around your sprinkler even, tighten that one up, and then we can cut the excess off. Perfect. So as you can see here, we've dug a little trench back here because people will be working in this garden. We not only want to hide it out of the way so that the pipe doesn't get damaged, but you're also going to hide it so it's not visible as well. We'll then hold the pipe up the back of this post to the bottom of where our Garden Rain sprinkler is, cut it off, ratchet clamp over, then we'll scratch this back over to hide it. So before we attach our threaded converter onto the top of these, we need to make sure we tape those. So we're using a PTFE tape. Make sure when you're doing this that you actually put the tape in the same direction the thread is going. Then when you thread your converter onto the top of it, it'll actually go with the thread rather than stripping the tape back off of it. So we have got our main pipes in. One is going through a conduit to pick up the other side of this garden. Timer is in, we've got our control pack filter hidden nicely around the back there. One last thing to do is to pop our rain sensor on. In this case, we're going to hide it again around the back there, just so it cuts the timer out whenever irrigation is not needed. Then we will be flushing the system before we put the nozzles on and show you how to adjust them.
So now we're going to flush the system, and the reason we do that is obviously we've been working in the beds, there could be soil in the pipe, anything like that, and the last thing we want is for that to get in there and clog all those MP rotators up. So we've already turned our system on, there's water in here, and we're just waiting for the timer now. So let's turn that on to auto.
So that is us done. Our Garden Rain irrigation system is sorted. Just to recap really quickly, we've got a 9 metre by 6 metre space here. We've got 4 sprinklers, 1 on each corner, complete coverage like rainfall, really nice and easy. For any questions, give our team a call or head to our website.